Although dragons are featured in all of the Joy Chronicles except for Book 1, they play a major role in Book 5, Return of Dragons. Hello, I'm Joy Elaine, author of the Joy Chronicles. Another race of reptilian beings that began to play a major role in this book are called the Chew. They came to Earth millions of years before humans were created, and most of them are inimical to humanity. An enlightened Chew visited our council and showed me his eye. It was an even deeper emerald green color than the one pictured. The Chew walk upright, are extremely intelligent, and many of them choose to appear as human. Those who prefer to retain their true appearance live underground. Members of this species are aware of everything that happens underground. That fact became important when I was told that Kira, Woundford's mate, planned to lay their egg in a cave under Edinburgh Castle. I was given a glimpse of the future in which the egg was stolen by one of the Chew, and after I transmitted that vision to Woundford, they were agreeable to placing their egg above ground in Fingal's cave. Their egg hatched on Mother's Day 2015, and Tonas and I were given the privilege of christening the new prince with the name Joya. Just before Joya's birth, Sananda revealed how King Onset, Woundford's dad, was killed. He had the idea implanted into his mind that the deepest part of the ocean held something very important and sacred that would protect all of the dragons. He kept going deeper and deeper in the ocean until he drowned. Since this method could have been used to kill Prince Joya, we got a scramble code to save King Onset in the past and scramble codes to prevent others from being tricked the way he was. Later in this chronicle, a relentless tracker, to use Osiris's description, found Fingal's cave. The Joy Council determined that the only way to keep the dragons safe was to move them off Earth. The pony created a new world, yes, an entire new world, and we moved back in time to restore dragons, gnomes, and merpeople to that world instead of to the Earth. Gia also restored Earth's dinosaurs to that new world. The fairies, elves, and leprechauns decided to remain on Earth. Members of the Joy Council and all the inhabitants of the New World voted to name the new planet Joyous. I wanted them to pick another name, but none of my suggestions passed. Concerning the fairies, after Laponi created flavored dew, including dispensers in little cups, for the fairies in Shalaya's garden, Shalaya decided that she'd like to share that dew with the fairies in the other gardens, and began creating bridges to all the fairy gardens on Earth. Shalaya also was so in love with having fairy babies that she created 993 babies for herself and Rosebud. And there were anywhere from 20,000 to 30,000 babies in her garden. That was just too many babies for her to care for. Ultimately, Gia was able to make it so that no fairy babies were created, only to be later discreated. Remember that in Book 4 I revealed the Joy Council was assisting all stars, moons, suns, and planets that wish to embody a chance to do so? In this book, our council discussed how to assist all parts of Earth, everything except dirt, sand, fish, clouds, or insects, to embody just before the culminative. This was so that all those components of Gia would be able to have an individual presence in the fifth realm. Otherwise, they would have simply been there as part of Gia's body. Gia told us that she had that under control, and I really love the idea of being able to meet the embodiment of orchids, sometime in the distant future. I also learned that all the Earth Keepers, fairies, elves, dwarfs, and gnomes, did not have individual souls. They shared Gia's soul. Gia, Isis, and I met with Shalaya and the fairies in her garden to explain the idea of having an individual soul. After Shalia understood that concept, she visited every dwarf, gnome, elf, and fairy garden in order to explain the option of having an individual soul. I tried to remain neutral about Shalia's decision, but I was really glad when she told me that she, Rosebud, and her baby wanted their own souls. One of the funniest things I learned about was what happened when Laponi created a dollhouse for Shalia's garden, complete with working plumbing. Shalia told me that for a while, the fairies liked to drink dew while standing around the toilet. They would throw something in it and watch it disappear when they flushed. Gia told me about leprechauns. They exist only in Ireland because people there believe in them. And Cardma, a leprechaun, gave me his take on gold. 12 of the Swizzlers chose names, and 3 of them decided to be girls. Champ, Kermit. Charlie said he wished he'd chosen that name. Sandra, Chase, after Chevy Chase. Camp, Chucky. Manly, Nicky. Toby, Pinky, Jory, and Bruce, after Bruce Almighty. Swizzler 29 briefly experimented with being depressed, but he didn't like it. And for a period of time, Swizzler number 3 had black fingernails and dreadlocks and would make his lips disappear whenever Charlie wanted to talk to him. The Swizzlers were really beginning to embrace their individuality. Commander Ashtar and Zeus's romance blossomed in this book, so much so that I conducted their wedding ceremony on June 22nd. Laponi made them a vehicle resembling Flash Gordon's spaceship so that they could exit by blasting off. Another future event that I was shown was Commander Ashtar being captured and killed. Laponi created a hologram of him and we let it be captured. The 2 who captured and killed hologram Ashtar also involved other universes in a plot to take over Earth. Those illegal tactics allowed the Andromedan Council to remove from Earth those 2 involved in the plot. Osiris termed this the emancipation of Earth. This concludes my description of some of the happenings in Book 5, Return of Dragons.